Good evening, everyone. I'm Benjamin Fisher, and this is the 640 reading series. We do this on the third Sunday of each month. And wow, we've got quite a turnout this month. I think thanks for that goes to Curtis and Sterling, who have tirelessly promoted, and we really appreciate that. We have 4 readers for you this evening, and if there's interest, we'll do a short open mic afterwards. I am not going to take very long here. Pardon for my current state of dishevelment. I just got back from the coast. But our first reader for the evening will be Curtis Whitecarroll. He's been terrorizing the Portland poetry scene for
10 years November.
10 years from November, so a decade now. Are we going to have an anniversary party for that? I hit play already on that one. All right. Okay, so we do have a couple of seats in the back here if some people would like to sneak around. Curtis has possibly hundreds of chapbooks out, or is it just in the tens right now? 18 different chapbooks. If you're interested in acquiring a chapbook of Curtis's work,
too bad!
Never mind. None for you. So, without any further ado, please welcome Curtis Whitecarroll.
Would this be like too dramatic? I don't want to like look goofy or anything.
Oh no, you don't look goofy at all.
You look sexy.
I know, but I should stop playing with my hair. I didn't mind. It's been an evening holding my camera. As normal, I have white fluffy poetry. So I will accentuate it with my overall seriousness vibe. So this is actually just about being in Selwood, but they're going to build up in town as they go on. So this is called $5 Matinee. Wake up, jump from bed, walk fast, out into the street, walk to favorite shop, watching the mechanics of the suburbs, driving into themselves, cars honking, angry drivers, too stuck in their own stew of routine to know they are sinking, mumbling men with shopping carts full of cans, their heated conversation started way before they ran into anyone else today. $5 Matinee. I am not in a Woody Allen mood. I am too busy being Woody Allen. I am determined to get across town for sentiment's sake. Hungry, almost sleepy. Put on hat. Bald head cold. It is getting warmer. Put on hat. Bald head may burn. Bees by the flowers. Obvious sign bleak. I assume their big goal in life is to sting me. But it's not all about me, so says my ex-wife. But I want to think otherwise. There is a virtue in being self-centered. If I feel everything revolves around myself, then it gives me more reason to care about other things. It's a matter of self-interest. But right now I can't tell if I'm anywhere at all. This is, the title's taken from a William S. Burroughs poem. El hombre invisible. Sitting in a dark room, I don't need to see what I'm doing to write. There is something about the after times, when we are all done with whatever. We do what everyone hoped we would. We just make do afterwards. If Christ comes back at some point, he will have to get a job. And since he has not held a regular position for a couple of millennia, I'm guessing the janitor will be the best that he can get. And I need to get away from these thoughts, because I have done all I needed as a poet. The disposable camera that took its pictures, now living out its landfill pension. I react to the lack of reaction. Portland does not care, and that is why I love it. The spider webs of my own hang-ups can bait me and grab hold of my fly wings. But I can still walk, amongst a crowd of those who never notice. But at least I am technically among people, with having to throw concern about whether or not any of them step into traffic. Silently using the black magic of El hombre invisible. William S. Burroughs said that if you observe people, they will not notice you. And sometimes I slip back into my old misanthropic impulses, as I scan people thinking the only good use for them would be as ideas. Maybe they're at least one good poem. Looking at the jaywalker I know to be a hipster anarchist, wondering if he gets hit by a car, would they let me spray paint better when underground on his corpse? These are the words of someone walking on razor wire tightrope between borders, looking at the places where I've spent the last couple of years, trying to relocate to and fro. The frozen Arctic of observation and distant logic, the permanent springtime of allowing yourself to feel. I admit that the thought hurts, and I've only wandered this way because of a woman, and she moved later. The eyes that have known me for so long don't understand what is currently wrapped under familiar skin. I suggest it may be best for them to just look away, invisible again. I can't translate warmth. I have not been speaking the language long enough. It is the sound of a stream, after so long this territory having been desert lands, despite my having moved from the landscape of corpse with sagebrush wounds, but I can't make myself look kind, even though I'm closer in proximity than ever I have been. So I have invested in sunglasses, so they cannot see my movie villain bug eyes, but this sheen of concealing glass put me in a better fixed position to be an unbitter satellite. Now I'm going to sound more like as people know me, so next few poems. Family-friendly poem. You can just feel the build-up of the title. Family-friendly poem. I was 13 and jerking off bikers for heroin. My mother disowned me for that. Not because of the addiction, not because it was a whorish maneuver, but because she thought I was gay. I gave you plenty, I raised you right, you didn't need to do this to me. As she was forgetting the canals of ruptured skin, the ripping of flesh, the angry actions of psychotic father with a chain, whom she at one point tried to find peace in her mind, point the finger to me, saying perhaps he could tell what a freak of nature I was, and saying that and that is why he was feeding me bits of Percocet at 6 and molesting me in my half-dead state. Saying maybe it was just all my fault that he became a monster, my fault that he beat her the night it was officially over, when he tied me to the stove and drove her out to the desert, raping her, beating her toothless, ribs to powder, when finally a day and a half of that, and then another 2 days of walking on busted legs from deserts to outskirts to call my uncle to either come get me or my body, saying now it wasn't worth it, that it was my fault. I feel alone in this area of numbing over pain, the comfort zone of the dead lands of blame. I see repulsion, and I absorb it through my eyes, like some opiate through the holes in my skin. Get away from me, you would say. Get away from me, you're not my kid. Get away from me, my dead brother would be disgusted by you. And I got away, claimed to not be their offspring, and I kept the disgust like a mound of clay. For each of them, I made a cast of their faces, and then I would smash it back to a mound, shapeless. Below memory winter. Below memory winter, this cold bites me, I bleed frost, summer dies underneath clouds that I exhale. It is a game of sadness and heat death. Here comes the fate of souls, here comes the preservation of everything, things you wanted to rot and fade, staying secure forever behind a window of glass, safe, dead, unreachable this way. For as long as there is cold and time, we lose even the staring contest. The dead have the advantage here. Their eyes on me from the remembered alleyways, sending knives as critical stares as I stumbled down the sidewalk, hating the fading trail of heat that still holds on to me. Still, I am not among the patient, though I miss the patient ones. The time that ticks on and leaves me missing more. I miss and more and missing more people as a rainstorm of butcher knives. I suppose those that I know will wait for me and have had years of practice at being patient. Down to my last two. So, I've noticed there's a fair amount of women here, so I'm going to apologize for the Star Trek references. This just explains my sex life, I think. So, it's called I Blame You, Counselor Troy. All my problems started in 1987. Well, actually, I think all my problems really started on that cold February day in 1980 when my parents conceived me. But zooming ahead, I would say this was a moment that explained everything about me and women. 6 years old, watching the new series Star Trek The Next Generation. It was a symbol of a new time, because the old series was my dad's favorite show to watch while molesting me. I could tell he did not care for this show as much. Therefore, on Thursday nights, I could expect to take a deep breath of sci-fi relief. And there she was in all of her jiggly, purple-suited glory, Counselor Troy. Although too young for my hormones to explode, they did anyway. The black hair, big dark eyes, pale skin, and Mediterranean air. It was all so hypnotic. It was all so foreign. Because, like it or not, your parents provide early definitions of the world. So yeah, the world sucked a little. But the colors of the world as I knew it then, rust-haired, blue-eyed father, blonde-haired, brown-eyed mother. The Greek Betazoid was truly an alien. I waited for an abduction. The calm voice, the seeming tenderness, and all somehow appealing to a boy who lived under the impression that a fitting punishment for being late with chores is to be locked up naked in a rabbit cage for the night in late October. Or perhaps I just knew, even at 6, that I should be seeing a therapist. And that was the first time where after I would watch television, my heart became a sugar cookie that I would break in half and offer it to the woman on the screen. But it was far from the last time. Seemed that every show after that I saw inspired an accelerated heartbeat. Connie Chung, shut up, she was hot in the 80s. Joe from Facts of Life, Blair from Facts of Life, the blonde chick from Matlock, my mom was obsessed with that show. Madonna, like everybody else in the world. Chitara from Thundercats. Somehow I never became a furry. Cassandra from Wayne's World. Patsy from Absolutely Fabulous. All of them belonged in the cast of the different movies playing in my head. The scripts as they were blatant rip-offs of what I would watch in my room on Cinemax on Friday nights. My palm lost its virginity several times in one night. First, the bikini car wash, then an hour later, the teenage cat girls in Heat.
Oh.
And everything would build up on nights alone, unable to access the porn. The film reels would run on my skull projector. The setting would be in a swimming pool gym type thingy, with Madonna and the blonde from Matlock treading water in the pool, Joe and Blair and Cassandra and Chitara taking turns doing laps all around. Counselor Troy sitting by the edge of the pool looking lonely, getting a gentle tap on the shoulder, turning her head to see Connie Chung standing there holding a bottle of champagne and wearing a strap-on holster with a giant banana jutting forth. Troy getting up titillated, a fire in her eyes, immediately standing up closer to Connie saying, "I love bananas," as she puckers her lips and gets closer. You probably don't need to hear the rest of it. Anyway, she started all of it, and was perhaps a model for most of the women in my life, though I always said that I don't have a type. So often I am with a kind-hearted, black-haired beauty who at least pretends she wants to hear my endless tales of damage or worthless things I've learned. I have long ago squandered my chance to be a Vulcan, and I got a letter in the mail that said I qualify for Klingon citizenship. Another reason to defend the honor I leave laying on the sidewalk. I know I will never find you, Deanna Troy. I will never be beamed up from Portland. But I will keep looking. I set my phaser to cornhole. Proceed with caution. And this is actually, I've read this poem. This is, my last poem is the only poem that I've ever read before live. I've read this a few times, but nobody ever notices it. But this is my favorite poem of all that I've ever written. It's called My Skin's Duty. Take a look at my hands, and I won't let you see my back. This thing that was torn into by angry father with angry chain. These hands heavy with their old duties, lifting hay bales, shooting heroin, making skin and bone shields to deflect punches, feeling my neck, eventually heading down the canal that braces against my spine. My skin, it is my enemy. But it is one I've learned to forgive, only because I can't bear to rid myself of it. It cradles my nerves like the lovers I've failed to comfort. And I need this, to be held in the horror of the things that passed, to know to never adopt these as real feelings, these feelings of monsters that were translated to physical rhythms. Not my language, although I know it by heart, and I promise not to teach it to another. Thank you for listening.
Wow. Okay, before I bring up our next feature, I'm going to give up the mic to my co-producer and the benevolent dictator of Warehouse 640, Paul Evans, and I'll be back shortly.
Hi there. This is the moment where I plug what you're in. This is Warehouse 640, and we are basically just a group of artists that tried to make something happen. And as you can see, we are making stuff happen. However, we got a lot more stuff to make happen, and this is where you guys come in. This is a bucket. It's empty right now.
Wow.
So I'm going to pass this around, and if you feel like supporting and continuing to make this kind of stuff happen, and many more things, everything from film screenings to music shows to more art openings to more poetry readings, then please donate anything you want. We have a lot more building to do. As you can see, we're in a different place. If you've been here before, usually we're over there on the side, and that's under construction right now, so that's a good thing. And we have an even larger section that we're going to be dedicating to hosting events like this. However, we do have some more building to do on it. So, again, all of that takes money and time, and if you feel like helping us out, then please do. And as you can see, we are not selling anything here, so there's no distracting coffee maker happening while the poetry reading is going on, or there's not a lot of drinking or anything. I mean, you guys can do the drinking whenever you feel like it, but we're not trying to sell you anything. So please donate if you have the time and money and heart. I'll just pass it around.
Thanks, Paul. So, I am really honored to welcome up the next reader. She was not one of the ones that I invited, and if I would have known, I would have been even more honored, but now that I do know, Aleks has been doing wonderful things for the queer community in Portland for a long time now. Originally from Macedonia, Aleks Stefanova is a poet, activist, and full-time dreamer. She is the creator of Q Poetry, a network for queer poets, artists, activists, and other folks. She is on a journey to unite all queers through the art of poetry and spoken word in one safe but free-for-all zone. In July 2010, she recorded her first poetry CD titled 9 Tales of Love and Loss, and in September, her first chapbook, Rage Road Tales. Recent Portland transplant, she runs the monthly queer poetry slam, a Q poetry night that features some of the best queer poets around the nation. She's currently working on several different projects, some of which are a collection of erotic poetry and a new CD. Get your pens out. For more information and some of her poetry, go to q-poetry.ing.com/profile/Aleks. That's q-poetry.ning.com/profile/Aleks. She does have a chapbook with her. Unfortunately, she doesn't have enough copies to go around, so if you're interested, it's Aleks Stefanova Between the Lines. You can contact her via email, or I'm sure there's contact on the website. Her poetry is amazing, and you get to hear it right now.
And this is the part where I'm reminded that I'm much older than most people. It's the cool part. Hi everyone, how's everyone doing tonight? I like asking that question a lot. Nerve-wracking events. And I think I just put my... No, I didn't. Yeah, I did. There it is, back there. Can I get... It might help me read some poems. I tried memorizing them once in a while, and memory is not my strongest quality. But anyways, I was thinking, what should I read you? And usually I have a plan, but from personal experience, I do much better if I just don't make a plan and just go with it. So I'm just gonna go with it, and I hope y'all are gonna enjoy it. So, a note to the ones being missed. It is this earlobes, darling. They've been hanging low like withered sunflowers, dry by the absence of your sunshine. Your call is a Western promise that the 3-hour difference seems to regret, while the East tires hoping, keeps yearning for it. If the East had a voice, it would say mouth, it would say throat, it would say swallow. Swallow the vast spread that stretches us onto separate shores. Swallow it whole and let our distances crash into an inseparable home. Redraw the map and mark my doorstep right next to yours, so when my ears start thirsting for your undertones, just lean them on our kissing walls. Dear one, don't scorn this longing child playing her missing song loudly. She's only asserting her stubborn melodies, the reckless punches of musical notes, resisting the silence in her dramatic contralto, desiring to own the last lines of this row. It is no news this child only does that when she's away from her games and toys. And if you were just a bit closer, you'd probably hear her practicing dirges, tuning her heartstrings so they play flawlessly when you call. What a political piece. Poetry can be about politics sometimes. It should be oftentimes. We're given a stage, we're given a mic, why not share what we think? Why not make you believe what we think? So this one is called Bridges. If I find it, you'll hear it in a second. It's from Macedonia. That's where I come from. I didn't come here for your bridges, Portland. Yet, they're beautiful, rising high like my worn scapulas feathered sharp under the endless nightfall. And like their iron shoulders, mine too rust under my mother's rain of tears. She wishes I was normal. She still claims I'm her beautiful star, but looks at me no longer the way she used to. These days, we only speak necessity in 2 different tongues, Macedonian, when we need something of each other, and whisper, and we dare dream of a better future. She says I'm forgetting my native language, laughs when I hit a roadblock and spill my thoughts in English. Mama, ne možem da gi najdem, kako se vika? Meaning, Mom, I can't find, how do you say it? Kako se vika? The girlfriend knew what it meant before I needed to translate. How do you say it? My mom says I'm shedding my roots, forgetting where I came from, becoming Americanized. And I can't deny that it is not true. Can't deny that tongue prefers folding over English syllables these days. Can't lie that I'd rather forget I'm an immigrant sometimes. The truth. I've never written a poem in Macedonian. Don't think that I ever will. Because unlike the many torn from the cradle of their countries, I love by choice. I chose to trade my home for a better future, to trade my true name for its easily pronounceable alternative. Ask me who I am. Remind me where I came from, then ask if given the chance again, would I go or would I stay here? I won't lie to you this time. The one thing that I learned after I fled was how they never taught me pride in my homeland. And how do you teach someone that their country is worth fighting for when all the history books that I ever read spoke of loss and regret, of slavery, of giving away pieces of our land so some treacherous bastard, the chosen president, would stuff his pockets full and name his trade a fight for freedom? This poem is my fight to remember, is for the freedom it takes me to write it, is for all the free Macedonians that chose to go and not stay there. Love your country for the valleys and the people. Love her for the past we left behind, for the first poems we ever read, those songs of immigrants who learned pride after they left, for the recipes passed on for generations, for our soft-spoken truths and our stubborn natures, for the hot summers and the ripe fields in fall, and for that one river that divides it all in half, for the crumbling walls of our Kale, our beautiful language, and for the shadow of every street lamp that keeps all our childhood stories safe. Love our country like we've never before had, for she promises she will never stop loving us back. It's the type of poetry I write when I'm nostalgic. It happens once in a while. That and listening to really bad folk music for some reason. That does it for me, you know. How about love? Happens to all of us sometimes. Oftentimes. Every day. But when you hurt. When love treats her spot on your bed pillow with ghosts, let the howl of their silence brace you. It will hurt. Like gums hurt when a tooth is plucked out, it's how it always is when you part from your roots. When you hurt like dust, hurt like the blood-orange horizon, like daylight, losing her laughter to her lover's new friend, the dark night. Give them both the ring of your best smile, white teeth cracked across the skyline, dimples bearing your last hope that today will never end. But it does. Everything ends. From birthday cakes to your monster-hunted dreams, the weddings, anniversaries, long car rides to the coast, best friend fights, heartbreak asylum lockdowns, frost-kissed winters, and even spring, too. And every next moment, summer is over, fall ending, winter, a chain link to just another season, existing with one goal only, to vanish back to where it belongs. When you hurt, the pain is knowledge learning its way through your bloodstream. Nostalgia already kissing your earlobe and whispering it will be over. Soon. Don't miss me. Say your last goodbye, then go along, wide open into annihilation. And when you do, greet your end like greeting a lover you've been waiting on ever since the war started. The embrace itself and melt with your last breath into a union. With your fate and kiss her like you'd kiss a nervous bride, the most gentle thunder. A striking life wish to please. Let it be good. Let it be better. If it is ending, it doesn't mean it's over. It might just be the pen skipping to another page, so why waste your ink on the wind? Never capture it on the page, so just let it go. Let it become the past. When you hurt, all you'll have is your goodwill. Suckle on it like the memories suckle on your dreams. Give in to this matrimony with your new beginning. Sing to it and be true of heart. To the blues of your wedding march. To the last kiss the day will end you with, to your next page. Don't fear this darling. You'll be reborn with the morning. You'll be spring. You'll be summer. You'll be fall. So I had the longest writer's block I've ever had since I started writing, which is not that long ago, 2008. But it was probably about 5 months long that I thought I was not a poet any longer. And then there was this, our community, the Portland Poetry community is really great because they encourage you, even over Facebook, to write every day of the month, 30-30. National Poetry Writing Month, NaPoWriMo. Have we heard about it? But so I started writing again, and here's some new shit.
Yay, new shit.
Yay!
New shit.
New shit. Even the best of con artists gets tired of lying sometimes. Drop the mask. Open up. Vulnerable. is like a deer consumed by a set of headlights, waiting to see behind the brightness at the end of his tunnel vision. I fear to say the truth sometimes. So I swing out my paintbrush and draw you an image of how I wish you would see me. Words paint such beautiful paintings. And the clearer my brush strokes, the better I see this wordplay is much like a carousel, endless spinning. I've been enjoying the ride. I can't lie to you this time. But in the meantime, the eyes of this painter I've become have been watching the face in the carousel getting worn and tired. Tried to get off the speed ride. Tried to lose the paintbrush. But much like glue, habits tend to stick to their familiar and ever-comfortable course. My burning heart has been losing its flames in the cold of this battle. My lips have started pretending to not know how to mouth words anymore. I tried to remember how all of this madness started. The first time I ever traded my will to the paper magician. He promised that once my soul touched the plane of his face, the one that I loved would see me more beautiful than ever. So I spilled out my desires, held his face as I was holding my lover, believing that this dance would never offer any consequences. My love left, ushered by the call of longevity. I picked up my brushstroke, drew a red stain over my vulnerable white. I knew then, beauty lies not in the dream fulfilled, but in the blister of its becoming possible. I've been painting my dreams possible ever since that day, growing blisters on both my hands. I know that I paint lies, oftentimes lies more beautiful than any other picture the truth may make. The consequences are the rotting teeth of this heart chewing down every ugly truth I paint over beautiful. So some days, when the prison of my ribcage becomes too tight to handle, I pick up a pen, write my heart a letter longer than eternity, repeating just one little truth, just one little truth. Forgive me for being as weak as I am. Okay, so after self-pity comes something, something a little bit better, which is hope. So here's a hopeful poem. It's called The Beautifulness. Let us be the perfect mistake, a master crime of the artist that made us. Let us earthquake this Babylon until there's nothing left but dust, until the sun starts bleeding tears of rust and ash. Let us grow phoenix talons from that beautiful mess. I'll bury mine in your flesh to find my revival. I'll let you bury yours in mine and grant you your survival wishes. Girl, don't you wish we made thine beautiful together? Don't you wish we shed the feathers of our shoulder blades and left nothing of our heaven-given insecurities but a matching set of crossword scars in our backs? Don't you wish we were truthful to our biggest gift like that? Alive and living fearlessly, be who we were meant to be, extraordinary acrobats, string walkers, balancing the life force, trading it for safety till the day gravity meets the destiny of our biologies and turns the ground beneath our feet into clear blue skies. Lady, don't fall for this carefully constructed metaphors, please, or do, if they help you craft the bridge over your rivers of shame and walk you closer to me. In reality, this fall is as close to flying as we'll ever get, so let me find you parched lip thirsting for a night like this, the mist of the air whispering wonder, the teeth of the stars tomahawk missiles aimed at our stained glass hearts. Would you let me fill the blanks between your scars, offer comfort through the stories of my past, puzzle your heart with pieces of my dreams, lure you in with my present lust? Trust me, I fell from heaven and gave up grace just to be your fallen angel. Trust me, when I hear your sins, I'll baptize them wholly, so unveil your fears, darling, right here. You'll find them braided by safety. And I'll beg you, give me your blessings and your unrehearsed prayer. Flaunt me your flaws unscripted, sway me to confess. But you gorgeous. I'd sin till Rome chants my name. So when you find me, crucify me between your bed sheets. Nail my wrists with handcuffs to your bedpost. Quench my thirst for divinity with your breath. Lend the well of your collarbone to my screams. Bend the curve of your spine to my dying wish. Then resurrect me with a smile brighter than brilliance the morning after. That morning after, when the bathroom mirror shows your Ten Commandments scripted in bite marked scars across my chest, so clearly that convinces me I must be holy. I'll smile back at you, beautiful, and say, baby, you're the law now, or God. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
What can I say? Aleks Stefanova. That's the reason why anybody runs one of these things. Well, I hate to be in your shoes, Mr. Mike G, but if there's anybody in Portland that can follow that performance, it's this man, Michael Guimond!
Happy to be here with my esteemed colleagues tonight. Thank you. And I'm a little nervous because you guys look so beautiful, and I'm just hoping that I can withhold from masturbating until I can get home to my basement. It would be very awkward if I were to do it here. So I'm going to try very much to wait till I get back to my basement, which is where I belong. I have three I want to share with you. The syntax by which I think is fucked, and the British haven't given up. This time they attack with oil. Just remember, my love, my crucifier, this could all be a hologram. You going to heaven, BP burning sea turtles alive, alien Obama grinning beneath his cowboy hat, rocking to and fro playing Space Invaders. I am not going to heaven, my love. You got the best apples in town, my love. Ninkasi, I love to lick from your nipples. The transgender revolution dumping hormones into the water supply. My Bloody Mary clenched in my cock-beating hand. My love, the teeter-totter spiral slide going down with the Illuminati Titanic. Take this dandelion bouquet, feed it to your rabbit. Take these apocalyptic microwave veggie sausages, feed them to yourself. I shall feed from the garbage piles of the put-upon. My friends, my lovers, the put-upon. I'm victim to your vision, you are victim to mine. I spy from the vantage point of the put-upon, a great red thing in the sky. We drop our pretensions, but it's a hologram, so it's not okay. It will squeeze us into the camps, squeeze us into things to be consumed. Those sick bastard holograms never miss an opportunity to cash in, confuse, feed. They are amused. The truth is sad. This is disaster land, the land of fucking up. The crop circles are getting impossibly complicated. Ain't no math geniuses with boards tied to their feet in the dark, and they're beaming God messages into our heads. Not from us, not from God. They're finding bones of 30-foot-high giants who could chuck Jurassic cars like footballs. First the mind-born, then the sweat-born, then the egg-born us. We know. Rudolph Steiner told us so. We carry the burden of the adept. Don't go to those dogmatized churches. Come to my mouth for God knowledge, and I will pull your hair close. Clench your mouth to mine. I won't specialize. I want to know things like the hologram program, like your 3 minutes theater of the mind love, like the sweet chill of a Bloody Mary in my cock-beating hand, like Project Dust Storm. I just made it up. It works like this. We all use keywords like terror, or assassinate, or jihad, or Barack insane Obama. In every sentence, text, email, we articulate. That'll keep the NSA too busy to bust us. Fascist America, away to the cornfield, now! I see much from the vantage point of the put upon. I see my spiritual reality limping towards 1,000 futures. I cannot see them all. May they all not be dark. I am worried they are. May I attach feelings to thoughts and actions to feelings. Sounds right. I'm worried I'm missing something vital. I'm worried my mind is garbage. I'm worried I can't stop fantasizing about licking your assholes and what that might reveal about me if the others knew. I see from my vantage point of the put upon that we select our parents. They were our best friends between age 30 and 40 in the previous incarnation. I'm worried about my discernment in the previous incarnation. Kiss me hard while I pull your hair. I need to forget that the subconscious dictates reality. I need to forget that the syntax upon which I think is fucked. That our love is a teeter-totter in my head. Kiss me with a picture of the Mad Hatter in your head. Kiss me, Mad Hatter, now! From the vantage point of the put upon, I know that our operating system is not supported by Comcast installation wizard, and Obama don't care. Apparently we need to call 1-800-COMCAST to set up our new world order souls. I need a junk removal service for my mind. Can someone make the call? I can't. I'm a fish out and inside water at the same time. My autistic girlfriends pressure me to fuck their armpits. We have strap-on epistemological productivity gender-bending parties. Sometimes I'm a fish, sometimes a sausage. I can swish or strut as confused as anyone. Now! But I got 3 t-shirts and a shoe for each foot. Suck. Cess. You proud of my contribution to your precious little economy, Obama? I like being one of the little people. Obama! Little people, have fun. We ain't gonna work for you. Ain't gonna be your puppets. Here, take this trophy and hang out with your cousin Cheney. Trophy says, just another cocksucker in the status quo. Just another failed incarnation. Get your picture out of our heads, Obama, now! You love stare through the spider web through me. I'm staring at a thought, you say. You can't see it, you say. No, honey, I can't, I say. And then you say, fuck my armpit! Now! You have seen the silver bones of Jesus locked in the Vatican vault. I have not. You are going to heaven. I am not. And I'm not going to talk about the dolphins no more. I'm in enough trouble. I'm sure I'll return a squirrel chewing on nuts and little squirrel thoughts. And my little squirrel cock trying to fit in with the little squirrel vaginas. See you in some other when in the smoking section where the magic is. 43 hours sipping from the fountain of happiness. A new record for us. Let's do it again. You bring your carny hands and I'll bring my precious erections. We'll meet at the freak tent where the friends are, and the talking squirrels, and the fountain of happiness, and the Bloody Marys without end. The galaxy is a hologram. So are we. Your tongue I love to suck on is licking coffee beads from the rim as the young sun licks my face, says everything is fine. You poor fucking thing. You poor fucking thing. From my vantage point of the put upon, I cup your youngness at night and dream of gathering nuts to stow for our long asylum winter. I'd like to apologize for the people in the front row because of the spittle. Oh God, the spittle, here it comes. I'll end my days an outspoken old monster, drinking mushroom tea with Olivia, safe in the secret caves of Montana, my 600 pages of garbage keeping us warm, the squirrels emerging from the mirage to lick our tears and suicide themselves for our winter sustenance. Meanwhile, the machine's analysis is complete. We're no longer economically viable. I can't even keep a cactus alive. The words we thought mattered don't. Meanwhile, the crow struts and the rabbit dies. Insane Obama has stolen insane Osama's porn stash. Neither of these assistant manager ass lickers will receive a single virgin in paradise. There ain't no fucking paradise. But the unconcerned sun still shines. Our nicotine noses smell flowers sometimes. Alone in their academic castles, amid candles and ivory statues, the golden miracle poets recline. Clink of champagne glass against teeth, the only sound in the room. Old monster me sits on a cushion, says, "Pass the tea, please." I'm starting to see the rapture's this Saturday. Don't edit and rehearse the miracles away. I'm not in a space-time of understanding, I say. I've risen to what the gods call recovery. That was nice while it lasted. Meanwhile, more shit happened. Bulldozers and train loads. I don't want to get off on being destroyed, but I am the wandering cuckold. They say, I am that I am, they say. You're no longer sexually viable, she says. Leaves the cave for the unconcerned sun, and the thrashers keep on thrashing. I'm staring now at the stone Buddha on my desk. No flowers to smell here, not even dead ones. Worthless. I have one more. My mind is not dark like the insides of an ovary, but I've supped with darkness, learned at the base of its beak that it is also love. To embrace only light is weak embracing. My tongue receives your squeeze. We are temporary. My full-blooded Cherokee friend is shit-faced again, waves her hand, gnarled and swollen from exposure over the skyline, slurs, "None of these fucking buildings should be here!" We laugh at Portlandia, curse the jackhammer in the ambulance. She passes the bottle of wild turkey to me. I drink with my sister. I agree with and sometimes get intimate with my sister. My mouth to the tender coils of your pretty little ear. In the erotic aftermath, I see your ear clearly. It's the one goddamn true thing, the perfect ear of this moment. I hope you don't find it weird that your ear is my favorite part of your body. It's just so pretty. I tell you it's pretty. You say thank you. The one true thing that gets said only in this poem. You are so welcome. The working dog crouches at its owner's feet, gazes at me, I gaze back. We are two slaves bred to have a job, gazing at each other. Someday there'll be a wax museum like G. I'm self-absorbed and grandiose. Each thing I do so that may happen. I have supped with darkness. Your climax is greater than anything I can write, so I won't, except for this. After the shudder and the gush subsides, your lips curl into a smile beneath mine. To actually feel this goddamn perfect moment. We are not forever, but now that I've written it, this moment is. I broadcast my shadows. It's not courageous of me to do so, just my way of fending off false comrades. My comrades feel too much. It's confusing to feel too much. I feel too much and thus am often confused. Mix that confusion with thinking too much and behold, my definition of hell. Have you also supped with darkness? Will you sup with me? Should I be Frankenstein or Bigfoot today? Each gifted, each flawed, monster, angel, truth, bullshit. Of course, I am always all. I'll take my angry fist to the fossil bed, to this bed where you lay curled and smiling. I bring my tender world. No poem but this play of bodies, no performance but this shared ecstatic grind. We both know this isn't the whole truth. There's that wax museum Mike G to consider. My tongue in you finds the next great first line. It would be bad form to withdraw from your body, to write it down. So I tongue my truth into you, associate the memory with your moan, write it down when I get home. So fucking excited about the wax museum Mike G! The terrible rich children are away on vacation, so I no longer will need to kill them or rent a bulldozer to demolish their mansions on stilts. I am a good man. I seek a present tense existence. I'm always performing even while jacking off alone to all of your Facebook photos. I imagine an audience who loves me like you folks, rooting me on to ejaculate so I can relax a bit. The tension of this tense existence eased. This never in the present tense existence eased. You think highly of me, but I am not the sound of one hand clapping. I am damaged. You don't seem to mind. You are beauty, but yours is not the cold beauty of stars chained to the cold black gallery forever. Burst the grape and make it rain! Smash my walls with fruit and a smile. Please come to me naked as you come to me naked. You are damaged. I don't mind. I think highly of you. There is no forever. We are free to drink, puke, die. Grandma says grief is a needed weed in the flower garden. She keeps lots of creepy garden gnomes about. One sits atop the toilet. It winks and whispers poems I can't understand, like the lives I've tried that I can't understand. Grandma also believes in reverse speech technology. Once she recorded a scientist saying, "Surely the ETs will come in peace." Then when she played it backwards, the scientist said, "Surely the ETs will fuck us in the ass. Surely the ETs will fuck us in the ass." Finally, a word about rainbows. Fuck rainbows! I can't finger or tongue or fuck or suck or kiss, give cunnilingus or a rim job to a rainbow. I can't even hold a rainbow's hand when I need a hand. You are everything a rainbow is not, save for the fact that you too will fade, as will I, as will our moments as lovers to each other, our moments we supped with light. Thanks for augmenting me. Thank you, all of you, for not being a rainbow. Thanks.
We're not worthy. Michael Gimone. Well, after that, I need nicotine. I do the electronic cigarette thing, so I can smoke inside. So, quick announcement before our last reader here. In December, we will be taking a month off sabbatical for the holiday season because nobody thinks about poetry during the holiday season.
I don't think
You can say that you think, but you don't. You think about how much you hate your families and how to get rid of those goddamn knickknacks they gave you. But before that,
Like your
next
laptop?
month. Oh, I love the laptop. That's the one thing that kind of makes up for. Never mind. That's the. Okay, so next month in November, we are going to have author, poet. What? Oh, hold on. Yes, October. Never mind. All right, I got to do something about November. Who wants to read for the? So, October, we will have Lisa Wells, the author of Yeah, No, Maybe, who's been getting glowing reviews in Portland and Seattle, and is one of my favorite writers ever. Not just Portland, not just local, but ever. She's amazing. And we'll also have some audience today, Anatoly Molotov. He'll be joining us to read and do stuff. But before then, thanks. We have Shirley is many, many things, but tonight she's a poet and performer and prom queen, I think. So please put your hands together and welcome Sterling Clark. Oh, new Catholic, younger than Dad.
What you just said was I am a Catholic myself. Thank you, Melanie. If you're interested in that, you can talk to me about it later. It's called Younger Than Dead because that's what I in fact am right now. You guys too, I think. Awkward. Okay, so for those of you who have never heard me read, I can be intense. Disclaimer.
I think they're right.
This is called Changed. The other day I was at Subway around 3 o'clock in the afternoon waiting in line when I noticed I was the only woman in a room full of 8 men. Not one of them filled me with desire. The pinnacle of this realization was actually that for the right price, I'd gladly give each and every one of them a lap dance. And not just any lap dance, but a real, grindy, sweaty, can't help but get hard kind of a lap dance. Absolutely no consideration for their wives, children, drug problems, or financial ailments. I'd put money down that not one of them guessed I was thinking this, me, The most perverted person in the room more often than not. Me, changed by being a stripper. Only because now I feel alright saying these things out loud. Now I can put a price on it. Now I can pay my rent with it. Now I can actually afford therapy. Thanks, Grandpa, for everything, really. I can still feel your hands inside of me, and I still kind of like it. I don't collect birds, I just collect their cages. It reminds me of poverty, and I am gorged with such rage it documents my honesty. In all my fear and all my woe and all my undocumented tragedy, I find no partner, find no home, I find just empty. Oh, but my sweet love me, even if the belly goes empty, have you looked at the stars tonight? And yes, even if the scars still sting, haven't you seen them glow in the moonlight? And even if tomorrow just never ever happens, still, you've grown so tall, just think of it all. This top ramen has never tasted more delicious. It's my comfort food. It reminds me of a time when I lived, worked, faded to chew. So often the noise grows rowdy, my ears get infected, my veins so nearly injected, but I instead take it orally. My life fucking story. Just put it in my mouth. I bet it keeps me from screaming. I bet it keeps you from hearing the fucking truth which will undoubtedly come out. I am the kind of woman that would sacrifice my soul for just one other, so when I call you lover, I'm not asking you to fuck me. I'm asking you to tell me when enough is enough before the bullet holes that were meant for you mold in my soul canyons out of bluffs. And when I call you mother, I don't call you out of duty. I wish for you to explain to me why that time abortion wasn't enough. I live life like a pantomime, and I scream so loud, how come God in heaven doesn't hear it? She must be earless. She must have an ear infection. Even the divine still falter. I prove it every time I let my hair down, unwind, and bathe in my own squalor. The junk is fucking fabulous, but there is nothing junk can fix. Take it from a collector. Empty bird cages hold nothing but feathers. If you duct tape enough of them together, I'd swear you can fly. But the never-ending question trapped in the mirror, my dearest and my dearer, is why? This is very short. It's called Wake Up, Put On Makeup. It's a true story. I lay in slumber. The moon slides her tongue in my ear like a cat pleading for milk. My dreams come to me. These dreams seem more real than my life. When God massages my paws, I feel like a man because I grow stiff, hungry for more. I wake, draw on my face, not knowing what this lifelike day has in store. The Christians give me flyers in the street. This gives a whole new meaning to organized religion. Okay, so this is my most recent one. I kind of wrote part of it in my bed, and then another part of it later that same night. I was out at a dance party, and I got kind of drunk, and then I sat myself in a corner in the middle of the dance party and wrote this poem. Because that's what you do when you go to dance parties, you know? Isolate yourself and write poetry.
Yeah.
In my bed, in the morning, morning, I am in morning. The idea of the beginning is very conceptual. I have been unhappy. I have been lost. My room is a wreck. The state of my heart, the state of my life. I lay in bed. I can't actually muster the strength to move. I watch my stationary room. A mess. Clothes, items, crap strewn. My heart is that also. I turn my head. Great strain on my neck. When it is sunny, when I don't want it to be sunny, I can see right through my curtains, right through the grains of fabric. They used to be alive. Me too. Across the street, my neighbor, his beautiful garden, him and his beautiful wife and their beautiful fucking garden and their pretty lights and their pretty fucking house, and the way it simply makes my misery seem louder, more desperate. So instead of cleaning, instead of digging myself out, I decide to fuck myself. I decide to masturbate. And I can't focus. Everything sexy is dooming, is depressing, is heavy with loss and desperation. And I wonder, how the fuck did I end up a human being? Later, I am at a gay dance party again. So many claim to love me. I bet they do, I bet they do, I bet they love me because I'm easy to love, because I'm sweet, because love me instead of hate me, but look around suspiciously at everybody else. Hate the others, part them from me, part them, judge them, forget about how they were babies, how you were babies, how we were all babies. But it's safer to have something to hate. Only something terrible, Only genocide, only Holocaust could make us see each other as we are. So different, but really the same. There is only clothes between us. And to see each other, we need light and the kind of longing for meaning that brings up. That's really jumping around with this. What is that word? Okay, brings us from our own filthy messes, heart spaces, fucked up truths of life. And we can see for 1 second the perfect garden of our neighbor, ourselves, each other. We need each other more than we admit. Maybe only death brings clarity. I am your neighbor. I am your garden. I am your gentle. I am jet tall. Look away, see me, I see you. I am you, longing for truth, longing for freedom, us, an adjective. So, this is what it feels like to be alive. This is another very recent one. This is my recent journal. Because bleeding is never permanent, it hurts for a moment, but eventually a scab will form. Because bleeding is not permanent, I prefer it. It's proof of feeling, of heart beating, of death cheating, or of impending doom. Bleeding is not permanent, neither am I, neither are you, or anyone really. That man bought his superpowers. I was bred with mine, was cursed, gifted, born to bleed indefinitely. Never really has any moment found me whole. So ripe for the plucking that never really has any moment found me without a big bite missing, some hollow spot, some hollow feeling, of where the teeth once were, the tongue that had lingered on my skin tasted ever so lightly the flesh until the mouth began to weep, saliva emanating with a deep guttural hunger, and there could be no resisting, big bite missing, just enough missing to satiate all kinds of insects and animals, wolves mostly, whom instinctually knew I was born to bleed. This blood that's sweet and poison, bred for permanence. In a world where puppets walk around repeating pretty lies that sound something like, all wounds heal with time. Healing really maybe isn't the goal for me this time, for life this time, but perhaps I was bred to instead understand the importance of being halfway hollow. Just human enough, just capable enough to not let the sorrow grip me entirely, to bleed forever, and be present enough to know what blood is, to know I've been bitten. The wolves, they used to hunt me, but now I stand silent in the forest, still and silent, awaiting their powerful fangs, knowing I am not as I was built to be. If I allow the scars to form, the flesh to mend itself, the hunt is pointless. I am aware of my use, and I have resigned myself over to lifetimes of this superpower, a well of life, a well of emotions, a wounded walking being built of truth and hollow. May I never grow numb, may I never grow thick skin, may I just grow and bleed and bleed and bleed until the blood is so much that it covers this planet, that my overwhelming sense of empathy permeates every cell in existence. Perhaps only then will the rest understand the importance of blood, of being able to feel hollow and know it, be pained and know it, and know it's valuable. To refuse to be hunted and instead offer oneself up freely, contentedly resign ourselves over to the fate of breathing into the hollow spots, allowing the teeth to complete, allowing the blood to be not burden, not temporary, but a part of our collective consciousness that stays with us, prevents us from faking through life, silences the pretty, fucking, filthy lies. Truth is, all we are is blood and consciousness. We run avidly from both, are sickened by both. I invite the wolves in. Mark me, bite me. I will bleed and bleed. It's what I was bred for, what I was born for. It's my superpower. To feel, and nothing more. I'm going to do 2 more for you guys. I don't really see out of this glasses. There's not really glasses though. I just think it makes me look smart. Funny thing is, I'm wearing contacts right now. I didn't actually think about what I was going to read before. I figured I would like feel the energy of the audience and then read that. You guys? Okay, this one is also a true story. It happened at my job. If you guys haven't figured it out yet, I'm a stripper. Lots of people in this town are. This is called the mortician. I'm naked, I perform. I'm naked, I perform a lot. I was naked, I was performing. He said, don't come close, you don't want what's on my skin. So I said, why? No answer. So I continued, why, following around the club with why, until he finally responded. He had been cutting up dead bodies all night and didn't fucking wash before going to the strip club. Well, my face fell into his upon this revelation. Instead of repulsing me, I became fascinated with him. His job, his life. We had one thing in common. Nobody could guess just what our jobs mean to us. Yes, I did want to kiss him upon discovering such information. Mostly just to see what happens when two anomalies collide and break into each other. He cuts people up for a living. Me too. Only difference is, my victims get to piece themselves back together when I'm done. Okay, live. I want to read this one, so I'm actually going to do 2 more poems then we'll be done. I like lying to you guys. It's fun. This is also kind of about stripping. I kind of write about it a lot because it's a really fucking intense thing to do with your life, you know? Like, sometimes I'm there and I'm just like, how is this a job? It's so weird. I am on the stage screaming queer without saying a word, dancing to music to split your wrists to, music for the birds. Mostly artists and other broken souls are the ones who buy me. Sometimes nice old men who remember when a polite young lady could also be a whore. I think because they are the ones who know much more. They are not buying a fantasy. They purchase my freedom, my objectification, but for the first time in my young life, consensually. It was the beginning of the light at the end of the tunnel the first time I spread my cunt for him, some strange him, and he peered, white noise, for the first time, my choice, it was him, but it was my him. Sung loud, it was my voice. All 300 pounds of this man submits, and I touch his hungry skin. Stranger, kiss his cold cheek. It is impossible not to smell danger. I could be his rag doll. Instead, I peered into his eyes and only saw child, beast, kindred. My flesh is forever his feast. My flesh, the found of a million lost souls. I am branded with this feeling of not being able to breathe, and the stabbing, the scarring, the stabbing, the scarring, the knife to my neck, too paralyzed to even cry, the submission that haunts me. My mother condemns my choice to smoke. I hope I fucking die from it. At least it would be consensual. My mother, who held me, rocked me when the tears finally came after the first time I was raped, but she had no answer, no way to make it better. The anguish is still written on her face, carved into my heart, victim teaching victim, survivor teaching survivor, woman to woman. Is there even one of us left unscathed? Drop to my knees and pray in a different way until I'm bruised. All over. They can pluck my feathers while I'm forced to the floor until I can take no more. I can always take more. But they can never, ever have my wings, my words, my voice as it sings. I forgive you all, sweet angels. Even the broken still fly. I can't see you guys. I'm really sweating a lot. Okay, so this is my last poem. This is also my favorite poem. I want to be your avant-gardian. I want to hold hands, press our brains together, and let them become a big, squishy, brainy, orgasmic mess. I want to watch you while you paint and fuck myself, or you recite from memory all your love poems over and over. I want to be your socks and worship your toenails. I want to be your belt and decide when your pants go up and when they come down. I want to bury your face in between my legs and come in your mouth when you devour my cunt in utter ecstasy. I want it to be a tie. I want to be your tie and feel the soft skin of your neck for a whole evening. Be your tie. I want you to grab me roughly and loosen me tenderly while laughing out loud. Make me lie loose across your chest, silky and burgundy. Your tie, it's a tie. I want you to be my spatula, and in the morning I'll slide you in between hot butter and the fluffy folds of buttermilk pancakes. I'll give you a use and give you breakfast and give you head, and you'll like it. We'll argue about who likes to fuck who better, but our arguments will go nowhere because we'll just end up fucking and then lay there, hot breath on cum-soaked sheets in a pool of our own free will. I want to be your free, the girl who will. Heart to heart with your free will and my freedom conjoined, we will be like a sweater laid over a thermal, laid over a lacy bra on a blustery day when the birds are the happiest and the pines are the most potent. I'll be like a frosty glass and keep you temperate. You'll be like 15 shots of whiskey and make me sick in a fun way. We'll be like a tender afternoon followed with a food fight. The very smell of your hair will make me come. The sound of my voice will make you quiver. When you're crying, I'll do all I can to listen, although my instincts will be telling me to push my tongue so far inside of your mouth that I can lap up your concerns and worries and leave you fresh-faced and blue. Your hand will be like a vital organ. I will feel incomplete when it's not inside of me. Sometimes you'll go so far inside that I'll forget all about climax and lay there, wide-eyed, swearing to every god that has ever existed you are actually holding on to my heart, counting the beats, and writing perfect, rhythmic music that sounds just like our love. I'll be like this. You'll be like that. We'll be this way. But first, I think we should exchange names.
And that was Sterling Clark. If you've made any messes, please clean up after yourself. I think we're going to take at least a 5-minute cigarette break for all of you who don't have robot cigarettes. But before we do, could I see a quick show of hands of anyone who would be interested in reading in the open mic?
Call that a hand.
So we've got, what, 4 or 5? Okay, great. So come back in about 5 minutes, 5 to 7, and we'll have a little open mic. Great, thank you.
I'll post it on YouTube.